Where's your handy magnetic stick?
Oh, here it is.
You've
My
got.
with my telescopic. What are you doing about your show next week?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be bringing a lot of coverage and information from Chicago and the IMM event and stuff like that. But I'm not. I don't know because I'm traveling on. We are traveling on Wednesday, so I don't know.
Right.
I don't know yet. I might pre-record something. I don't know.
And then we'll be back. What's the date? It's the 22nd. It's Tuesday.
We'll be back for a couple of days, and it's Langston's after that.
Right.
It's 6 o'clock. I have to start the show. You know what you're doing otherwise?
I'm giving away grips for the viewer appreciation.
Right.
And I'm giving away an Amsoil telescopic flashlight and magnet.
Right.
To the, what's it worth?
You got it, Mel.
Okay. And I don't know what else to do.
You don't know what else we're doing?
No.
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
I'm going
I'm
going
Jerry
on.
Maddox,
And I'm Ryder Maddox in sunny California.
and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, hosted by Joe Abbate.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. I am your host, Joe Abbate. Thank you for joining me tonight. As always, my trusty companion and longtime bride, Susie, is with me. Susie,
Hi.
how's everything going tonight?
Okay.
What are we giving away? What do we got going on?
We have beautiful grips. Beautiful grips.
Yeah.
Preston Petty products, courtesy of
Yes.
.org.
Yeah.
And for the What's It Worth segment, we have a beautiful magnet telescopic flashlight.
Excellent. And who is that courtesy of?
Amsoil.
And our dear friend, Russell Waters.
Waters.
All right. So we will get on with that as the show progresses. In the meantime, I want to thank all of our sponsors, Motion Pro and Vintco, Preston Petty Products, Replica, MotorcycleParts.com, Racer X, the International Motocross Museum, Full Circle Racing, my dear friend Mike Chamberlain. And as you can see, I am wearing the shirt that was given to me by my dear friend George Ackerman, who has an event coming up. Here it is right here. Look. Saturday, October 26th from 10 to 4. It's free. There's food. It's fun. It's free. You've got some guest speakers that include Gary Bailey, Warren Reed, Barry Higgins, Martina Faltovico, and he's got the mini bike, the little mini barn set up this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So don't forget, George Ackerman's event down in Luther Glen, Virginia. Thank you. FastGuyStuff.com and Fred Hudgens at Durf Cycle. Russell Waters at Amsoil. I'm glad your electric and gas and everything else is back on down there in North Carolina. I know you're at 63,000 feet, so you didn't have to worry too much about flooding. If water, I'm sorry, 6,300 feet. 63,000.
It would be in orbit.
Yeah, you would be really high. 6,300, yeah. But you are out of harm's way, and I hope that Jerry Maddox is doing well down here in North Carolina as well. Don't forget, if you want to become a Vintage Motocross Q&A supporter, for $50, you get the shirt, but you also get 4 products from Amsoil. A transmission oil, a premix, some octane booster, you get some stickers. So my usual deal is $50, you get your name on the wall, you get a shirt, you become a supporter of the show. But Russell Waters has kind of sweetened that pie a little bit by giving us some Amsoil products as well. So if you want that for $50 at any time during the show, just type in, I will take the Amsoil special. As I mentioned just a moment ago, George Ackerman got the Moto Barn thing happening Saturday, October 26th. In the show description, you can go over to our link with the PayPal account. You can make a donation in any amount. We will be very, very grateful for you. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Susie mentioned that we got some grips being given away, compliments of Preston Petty Products, and our dear friend Paul Stainer. Don't forget, keep sharing the show, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. Just type in one of the names of our sponsors or Vintage Motocross Q&A, my name, whatever you might want to do in order to keep things moving here at Vintage Motocross Q&A, whatever it might be. We would greatly appreciate it. Now, the Next Time Try This segment is brought to you by Vintco. It always has been. Our dear friend Roy Vanderveer has been helping out with some content lately, and he's been really up on the front of the bike for a couple of weeks now, between grips and different types of things. Tonight's tip comes from Roy, and it's got to do with levers. It's a really good video,
Welcome
too.
to today's edition of Next Time Try This. A topic that I always started off my motocross schools and clinics with was always basic hand and foot control setup. So thought this is some good stuff to cover. Seems like this might be the best kept secret out there because nobody tells anybody. Took a long time for me to figure it out. Back in the beginning of time, we all fell down a lot and we all broke a lot of brake levers and a lot of clutch levers. There's a way to make it so that doesn't happen. When you meet somebody who's complaining about this problem, if you check their bike, they're always going to have the controls set up so that the clutch lever is sticking out past the end of the handlebar. I guarantee 100% of the time, if this bike goes down, it's going to break the lever. The end of the handlebar is strong enough to handle a small to moderate spill without any damage, but the clutch lever or brake lever, no way. It's not going to handle it. One of the fixes that people have come up with are these very expensive folding levers, which, hey, that's great, but if you want to avoid spending in the hundreds of dollars on your controls when you don't really have to, the hot setup is you got to slide that perch in far enough that the end of the lever doesn't protrude past the end of the handlebar. That's it. And then another thing I want to mention, on all the modern handlebars, whether they're 7/8 or 1 1/8 inch taper wall bars, you're going to see a shot peened area, which has a dull finish, and then a shiny area where the grip mounts. You don't want to ever mount your perch further in than the end of that shiny area, because then you're on the bend of the handlebar. If you get this on the bend and tighten it down, it very likely will crack your perch. So we want to keep them in good shape. I like running my controls all as well out of harm's way. I can't tell you the last time I've broken a clutch lever or a brake lever, but I can tell you I hit the deck 3 times the last time I rode. So the controls are staying in good shape. Grips are a little beat up. Another setup topic when it comes to basic control setup, the kill switch needs to have an air gap in between the flange and the switch. You want to be able to fit your finger in between there. Reason being, when you come down hard off a jump or hit a hard bump, if your body's thrown forward, your hands get jammed forward and it always jams it into the kill switch. And that's where you get the skin knocked off your thumb knuckle right there. So by giving yourself a little space here, you can save your hands. By giving yourself a little space here, your controls. Expensive controls, hallelujah, have at it. But the stuff that's on your bike, plus a spare set in your toolbox, you should be good for any riding event that you're going to go do. So I hope that helps make it better for you. And next time, I think we'll be mounting a set of grips.
Thank you. Roy Vanderveer did a great job with that, and he's got some other stuff coming up for us in the very near future. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sue Fish. You are watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
Vintco, who already has a full line of vintage parts, now has air shocks that are an exact duplicate of the original air shocks so popular in the late 70s. So whether you're looking to build a full racer or museum showpiece, these shocks will give you that incredible 70s look and improve your bike's performance. These new air shocks are fully rebuildable with Vintco rebuild kits, and all shocks are hand assembled in the USA with all new components. Every component is brand new. Just like the originals, our air shocks are adjustable with 2 chambers, high and low pressure, giving you tremendous flexibility for settings of your bike suspension. The Vintco air shocks come fully assembled and ready for installation. Just add air or nitrogen. The kits include the manual and spacers. Visit Vintco.com to check out the air shocks and all that Vintco has to offer to help you get back on track and to keep that ride going.
A lot of great stuff coming out from Vintco all the time. They've got connecting rod kits for just about every bike, piston kits, cranks, you name it. They've got it all there at Vintco.com. And don't forget, anything you buy that's over $200, you get free priority shipping. Free priority shipping with anything over $200 from Vintco. You want something that's not $200? How about you get some stickers from me and Susie? Here they are right here. Just $6 for 2 of them. They're about 5 inches long, 2 inches high. They look beautiful on the back of your pickup truck or on your bike. 2 for $6. Vintage Motocross Q&A stickers. Ever heard of? Let me ask you this question. You ever heard of a Hodaka? Of course you have. You ever heard of a Rickman? Sure. You've heard of a Rickman Hodaka. Bit of a rare bike, but I know you've heard of it. You ever hear of a Rickman Hodaka? Hodaka. Let me say that again.
Hodaka.
Ever heard of a Rickman Hodaka Webco modified bike like this one right here that Paul Stannard is standing with? This is a really cool looking bike. I'm going to read to you a little bit about it, or do you want to see the video first? All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to read all about it first, and then we'll take a look at the video. Paul took this bike out to an event this past weekend. It is called the Audrain Newport Concours, Newport, Rhode Island. I have saved parts and pieces over 20 years to build this bike. That's according to Paul Stannard. Only 400 plus Rickman Hodakas produced. The 7/8 frame tubing. Wedco produced this red, white, and blue original using a Webco 125cc top end kit in 1970. Hodaka did not produce a 125 until 1972. The original has been lost to time. Ours was built by Lee Fabry for me about 10 years ago to celebrate the original build by Webco. No attention to detail was spared by Lee Fabry. And as you can imagine, Lee Fabry did an absolutely incredible job on this bike. Paul Stannard, I know, is very, very proud of it. And we've even got, we've got a little video here. Check this out.
1974 Triumph 750 owned by Jimmy Googleman. But in second place is the 1971 Webco Rickman Hodaka, owned by Paul Stannard. The silent running version, or the silent walking version.
Yeah, I think this motorcycle would be quite different if we're not being walked across. I think that the sound that these small displacement motorcycles make is absolutely astonishing and totally
Well, there you have it. That was the end of the video. I thought it was a little bit longer than that, but apparently it was not. I want to thank Paul Stannard, Preston Petty Products, and of course, Patty Stannard as well for being a longtime sponsor of the show and helping us out so much with so many different things. Next up, we have, we have What's It Worth. Before I talk about the What's It Worth segment, which is brought to you by Full Circle Racing, I do want to mention this. You may have seen this a little bit earlier today. I made a post about it. Tom McAllister sent this to me. You can win a trip for 2 to the Arizona Supercross 2025 that happens on February 1st. You get 2 tickets to the Supercross itself, 2 airfare tickets, 2 nights at a hotel stay, okay? It's a raffle. You can win the trip. It's $20 a ticket, 3 for $20. You want to know more about that, go to www.wsmchof.org. You can buy a ticket right there. And Tom McAllister does an incredible amount of good work for the vintage motocross community and just motocross in general throughout the great Northwest. And they've been a sponsor of our show for about 5 years now. So get over there. Don't forget, Full Circle Racing. And if you want to get in on that drawing to go to the Arizona Supercross on February 1st, follow that link. You'll get over there. You can buy yourself some tickets. Now, for your viewing pleasure, we have the Moto Showcase. This week, we'll be taking a look at a 19. What do we have here? What is that, the Moto Showcase? This is What's It Worth, right? Okay. threw me a curveball here, Susie.
Who's saying you look like?
It's a 1997 Kawasaki KX250. This is, of course, the portion of the show where I encourage you, the viewers at home, to guess how much you think this bike recently sold for. And is this the part where we're giving away the telescope?
Yeah.
The telescopic light magnetic thing?
Courtesy of Amsoil.
At Amsoil, right. Okay.
Who did you send the bike in?
No. This is the Moto Showcase. This is what's it worth, not the Moto Showcase. Moto Showcase is coming up. Link Smith sent in a real nice Yamaha. We'll get to that in just a minute. Right now, 1997 Kawasaki KX250. You could put in your best guess on how much you think this bike recently sold for. Susie will be checking that out as we go through it. 1997 KX250 was reportedly placed into storage shortly after its first was purchased, with recommissioning work in 2024 consisting of powder coating the lime green frame, changing the fluids, and replacing the tires. Powered by a liquid-cooled 250cc two-stroke single paired with a 5-speed transmission, the bike is equipped with a kickstarter, the Kawasaki integrated power valve system, a key and carburetor, an expansion chamber exhaust system, a 21-inch front and 19-inch rear alloy wheel. It does have disc brakes, adjustable KYB suspension, a cross-brace handlebar, side number plates, and a purple solo seat. Acquired by the seller in 2024, this KX250 is now offered at no reserve in Missouri for off-road use only, and it does just only have a bill of sale. The steel perimeter frame and the subframe were media blasted and power coated in lime green in 2024. The matching bodywork includes an aftermarket rear fender and white front number plate. The graphics have red, orange fade lettering and purple white checkered pattern, and additional features and consist of a 2.2-gallon fuel tank, purple vinyl upholstered solo seat, a fork, and brake guard as well. This bike's got a lot of nice details to it. It's super clean inside and out, and you can see on the underside as well. Takasago alloy rims measuring 21 inch up front, 19 in the rear, wrapped in Dunlop Geomax tires. They have 2023 and 2024 production codes on them. Braking is provided by a disc at both ends with a twin piston caliber fitted up front. Adjustable KYB suspension consists of 46 millimeter inverted forks, as well as a unitrack linkage aluminum swing arm connected to a piggyback reservoir monoshock whose spring was powder coated purple, as it was back in the day when this bike was first produced. Beautiful job on this little machine right here. The pipe's got an original finish on there, as well as I mentioned earlier about how clean and tidy and neat so much of this bike actually is. Get a look at the controls for a second. Got the correct grips, got all the dust protectors on there. I think that, I don't know if that lever's bent or not. It looks pretty good to me. Good shot of the forks. The rims aren't all dinged up. There's even a closer shot. And there it is. I mean, the bike overall looks really, really nice. I don't think you have to call it a restoration. The bike was just freshened up. Everything looks really nice on it. And this is the section of the show where I ask you, the viewers at home, how much do you think this bike recently sold for? Beautiful bike, low hour piece to begin with. Taken apart, refurbished. 35, 45. This bike sold for $4,500 plus 5% buyer's premium. That happened on October 7th. So anybody, in my opinion, that gets, I'll tell you what. Tyler McGregor. How much did he guess? 45. Well, I was going to say plus the 5% buyer premium. So I was going to add another $200 to that, but he did put it in there before I had a chance to say anything. Did anybody else get close?
Yeah, 45. James Sharp got 47.
That's even closer. All right, here's what we're going to do. I want James Sharp. I want to thank Bill Masho also of the Vintage Motocross Buyers and Sellers Price Guide page. Okay, Bill does a lot of hard work over there, gets us a lot of good stuff. Here's what we're going to do. Tyler McGregor, you bought a lot of stuff from us over the years, shirts, mugs, hats, hoodies. James Sharp, I'm going to give both of you guys the telescopic magnetic little flashlight thingy from Russell Waters and Amsoil, okay? James Sharp, get me your address. Tyler McGregor, get me the address in the United States that you like me to send your stuff to, and we will give them both the telescopic magnetic flashlight. Is that okay with you, Susie?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to run.
4750.
Who got 4750?
Well, there's a bunch of people.
A bunch of people guessed 4750.
Yeah, like James Sharp.
Well, James Sharp was really the first one to jump in there. And actually, Tyler McGregor was even before that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to run the full circle commercial. Then we'll be back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A, including the much-awaited Moto Showcase and a lot of other cool stuff, too. We'll be right back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A.
Okay.
Where's my video? Here it is.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle Racing wheels prepped by Tom McAllister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run Full Circle Racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McAllister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McAllister at Full Circle Racing today.
I'm Gary Semix, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Abbate.
Thank you, Gary Semix, for making that video. And actually, I have to thank Jerry Maddox for getting that video for us. He was at a race, and Gary Semix was there, and we were able to put that together. Those nice little intros and outros for the show are always something very, very special, and I like them. Don't forget, another one of our great sponsors, Sunrise Vapor Blasting. If it runs, floats, or flies, and it needs something cleaned, you want to get a hold of Mark Variester at Sunrise Vapor Blasting. Here's a pair of shocks that he did for us not too long ago on a restoration project we are working on, and he's done so many other things for us over the years. Doesn't even pay to go out and buy a bead blaster or a vapor blaster or send them to your guy down the block, put them in a box, send them over to Mark Variester. One-day turnaround time doesn't happen any faster than Sunrise Vapor Blasting. Here's the problem. This week is brought to you by Motion Pro. Guess what? Nobody has a problem, but we still have a special going on. When you check out, use MP9135, that's MP9135, and you will get 20% off across the board on all products from Motion Pro except custom cables. You want to get a shirt from us, you can get one. They start at $19.99. T-shirts, hoodies, tanks, you name it. We've got them in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Susie makes them right here in the house. We also have hats, mugs, koozies, stickers. We've got it all at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Now, the long-awaited event, IMM3, is about to happen. Well, I'm leaving for there next Wednesday, so it is going to happen a week from Saturday. It's a week from Saturday, October 19th, and there's going to be a lot happening there. Of course, the International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. You can go there anytime you like, buy whatever you like, and it's going to be tax deductible, 100% tax deductible. So you can get yourself hats, t-shirts, hoodies. The posters are absolutely amazing, and there's just so much more happening there at the International Motocross Museum. Some big announcements coming up about what's going to be happening there. The doors are expected to swing open sometime in 2025. So let's hear what Ricky Johnson has to say. We'll take a look at a little bit of a commercial for the International Motocross Museum, and then we'll get back to more.
Marty and Bob Hanna cutting a works frame in half and a production frame in half, and not telling engineering, not telling the factory, and putting it together and going and winning a national with it. These kind of things the current generation is not going to know, and the world needs to know this, because they look at motocross and supercross now, it's so glamorous, and they're superstars, and they're making millions of dollars, and they retire without a big injury or whatever, and they go on to do whatever the hell they want because they have the money to live that way. God bless them. I get that. But if you don't preserve, and the next generation doesn't appreciate and see and look at what we had to go through to get here, it's just going to be lost. And so what Terry's trying to put together with the millions of dollars that he's invested in bikes, in memorabilia, in just everything, you just all of that, the world needs to see it, and that's why this museum is so damn important.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom. We raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
Okay, that happens a week from Saturday out in Lake Forest, Illinois. And you know who Sasaki Osuka is? Osuka-san, as some of us call him, is from Japan. He is the father of the Elsinore. Back in 1970, 71, he put pen to paper and created the CR250 Elsinore. He will be there next weekend in Chicago. We will be starting up the RC125. That's right, the prototype RC125. That will be started up along with Roger DeCosto's RN370 for the first time in 50 years. That bike will be started. It will not have a silencer on it. I can't wait to hear the racket that comes out of that bike. It's going to be a great time. And you know what? There's still time to make a cash donation to the International Motocross Museum. And if you do that, all you have to do is get to Chicago for October 19th, and you will get an email. As soon as you make the donation, it will tell you the address of where it's happening, the time, the whole thing. And you'll be there in a really relaxed setting with 50 or 60 work bikes and some really wonderful people who will be there to answer all of your questions. The last chance you'll have to get a look at those bikes before the doors swing open on the International Motocross Museum in 2025. Moto Showcase tonight is brought to you by Preston Petty Products. Be sure to get over to PrestonPettyProducts.com. Susie, don't forget, we got a grip giveaway coming up too.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I'm not ready just yet.
Okay.
This week's Moto Showcase was sent in to us by Lincoln Smith. Hey, Joe, here's a candidate for your Moto Showcase portion of your great show. Why, thank you, Lincoln Smith. Rebuilt to look like a works racer, complete teardown, painted frame. Yes, it's yellow, not black. All suspension was rebuilt with all new bearings, seals, etc. All Racetech gold valve internals in rear shock and in front forks. Racetech springs for a 170-pound rider. Has powder-coated silver wheel hubs, brake plates, and swing arm. Oversized modified KTM foot pegs. XL front rim, stock rim at the rear. Both using Buchanan spokes and nipples. All new, all balls, racing, and bearings. OMX Graphics supplied the gripper seat and cover on the stock seat base and foam. It's got DC plastics and side covers and radiator shrouds. It also has new OEM factory fenders, sanded and polished factory fuel tank. ASV unbreakable levers, Motion Pro cables, ODI grips, Mica metal handlebars, stock throttle, aftermarket aluminum radiators, engine rebuilt with Weisco piston on a stock bore, custom craft ported cylinder, Boys and Reed stock carburetor, stock factory expansion chamber with a DG silencer. Well, Link, I got to give you this, my friend. You put an absolutely beautiful, beautiful bike together here. I love what you've done. I like the seat cover. I mean, yeah, you push the envelope with the yellow frame a bit, but hey, you know what? It's your bike. You did a beautiful job on it. Nobody can say anything, certainly, about mechanically what this bike really reflects. And I'm sure when it's on the track, it goes just as good as it looks. I told you we were putting your bike on the show this week. You did send me your mailing address. So we're going to get you something nice, courtesy of some of our sponsors. Probably get you some Amsoil stuff, but we'll see what we have here. And I will put a nice care package together for you, Lincoln Smith. Segment of that show is, of course, again, brought to you by Preston Petty Products. Did you know I bet one thing you knew. I bet you knew Jeff Kokoski was missing in action for a couple of weeks, you know? He had a couple of weddings to go to. His daughter actually was the bride at one of those weddings, but Jeff Kokoski is back in the saddle, and he's back with a new Did You Know segment. This week, Jeff wants to know, do you know anything about City Boots, S-I-D-I. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Garnet boots got their start. For this week's segment, we'll discuss City Boots and how oddly similar their story is to Garnet's. Both boot companies got their start in the rolling foothills of the Italian Tyrolean Alps, about an hour north of the city of Venice. In fact, the two factories started only about a few kilometers from each other. And while that may seem strange, just like Detroit being known as the cradle of the American auto manufacturers business, our Munich's connection to the beer industry, that particular area of Italy became known for its quality footwear. Very, very interesting. So it's not unusual that the three of the finest motorcycle boot manufacturers in the world, City, Garnet, along with Alpine Stars, all had their humble beginnings in that part of the world. In 1960, in the Italian village of Messer, Dino Signori started making his own brand of hiking boots and ski boots out of a converted 430-foot square foot stable. Imagine that. Calling his company CD Sport by taking the first two letters of his first name and last name, transposing them, much like Ernesto Gazzola, who did a few years later when he started Garnet. He started out delivering his boots from his Vespa scooter, but his reputation for quality footwear quickly took off. By the end of the first year, he had hired his first employee. 2 years later, he purchased a field and he built a 21,000 square foot factory there. By 66, Signori patented his first rear entry ski boot. By the end of the decade, he recognized the need for a high quality motocross boot. In 69, Signori aligned himself with the CD and with Italy's world champion road racing hero, Giacomo Agostini, who helped refine his boot design. He also signed up five-time world champion Joel Robert to create the City MX boot, calling it the Full Bore. I'm sure we all recognize that boot, huh? In subsequent years, City would create some of the most groundbreaking designs in motorcycle footwear. City boots were the first to offer the inner ankle protection, a component replacement system, cam lock for the outside boot buckle, and the first 6-lever closure design. Wow, got a lot of things going on there at City, and this building is absolutely incredible. His shoes were the first to use nylon soles, Velcro closure straps, quick release mechanism, adjustable cleats. They were adapted to individual riders and took a lot of stress off the knee joints. City also was the first to develop the first cycling shoe designed for mountain bike riders. Although Dino Signori is still involved in the company, City was purchased in December of 2022 by a Milan-based international holding company, Italia Mobiliare, for almost $100 million. That is a lot of fazools. Like many of their Italian competitors, City has moved some of its manufacturing to Romania, but continues to make their high-end products in Italy. By this reason, for the move is not what you think it might be. Fewer and fewer younger Italians today are interested in learning to make boots, and they're losing interest in that trade altogether. Italians continue to oversee the Romanian factory production, and impressively, all the boots and shoes that are in Romania, they get packed up from the factory, they get sent over to Italy, and that's where quality control is checked and everything is repacked again. Today's City boots, with their iconic red swirl logo, pay homage to the Italian heritage and are available in over 60 countries worldwide. Wow. The City name is synonymous with quality, innovation, and style for footwear for any sport on two wheels. Jeff Kokoski, I am so happy you're back because you bring us great content. The Garnet boots, you did that for a month long. You did the things with the oil from Bel-Ray to Amsoil, so many other great ones. And now with this boot stuff, you are certainly a valuable asset to the show, Jeff Kokoski, and I want to thank you so much for helping us out here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. And you didn't lose a daughter, you gained a son, I believe they said. Right? Right. Okay, what do we got coming up next? Play the Replica commercial. My eyes are so tired, I can't see the small print. If I don't put up these little cheat cards, I'll never be able to tell you what I have to do next. So, okay, when we come back, we're going to have the winner too. So we're going to run the, what was it?
You're running a commercial.
Yeah, which one? We're running the Full Circle. right?
I
Okay.
think so, yeah.
Full circle. No, full circle we did. No, not full circle. Replica motorcycle parts. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Paul Parkinson with Replica Motorcycle Parts. I'm sitting here with our test bike, which is ridden by Jerry Maddox. He carries the #1 plate in the US. So let's go over a couple of the parts that we've got on here. We've got our ignition cover with the case saver built into it, so that when the chain comes off, you're not damaging your cases. Spacer, foot pegs. Jerry runs our air box. Seat brackets, keeps the seat on tight so he doesn't fall off when he's going over the whoops. And then this side, Jerry runs a couple little things, a lot of little rubber parts on the bike and stuff are all done by us. And then down here we've got our brake pedal, which has got needle bearings in there, and then it's got a wider toe peg so it gives them a real nice, clean, easy to use brake. And then this is our latest part. This is a CR250 type knuckle. In fact, Honda used them on the last versions of the MR175, and this is a real trick aluminum Kickstarter arm. So that gives them lightweight, strength, and reliability more than anything else.
I'm Dave Arnold. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Abbate. We'll be right back.
And we are back with Joe Abbate and Vintage Motocross Q&A. Oh, my dear friend, Paul Parkinson's here. I'm going to be seeing him in a couple of weeks down at the Langston event that happens down in Paris, California. We'll be talking more about that in just a minute. But yeah, Paul Parkinson's here, cranking out parts. Boy, I'll tell you, he does an absolutely incredible job. He's making new stuff all the time, whether it's chain guides, air filter cages, Kickstarter knuckles like this for your Honda CR125 and 250, and just a, read my lips, just a plethora of other parts from our dear friend, Paul Parkinson Sr. A plethora, Susie. Hey, Suze, why don't you tell me who won the viewer appreciation grip thing? Yeah, who is it? You're on live.
Hi. It's Brian Bellman.
Brian Bellman?
Yes.
Brian Bellman.
He is the winner of
the grips.
the grips.
All right.
Courtesy of Preston Petty.
Preston Petty Products.
That's the one.
All right. Thank you, Susie.
Okay.
Mr. Bellman, get me your mailing address. I'll get you a set of grips from Paul Standard at Preston Petty Products. Those will come directly to you from Paul Standard. As I just mentioned a moment ago, Langston Motorsport Bike Show. That happens October 26, 2024. That happens at Langston Motorsports in Paris, California. I will be there. I will be your MC. I talked to Gary. Well, I got a message from Gary Denton today. He will be there. But you know what? There's a host of other great people that will be there. They show up every year. Tommy Croft, Gary Chaplin. There'll be an autograph signing. I mean, Rex Staten is usually there. Brock Glover. Donnie Hansen, I think, is coming out this year, and a lot of other guys, too. So as we get a little bit closer, actually, there's not too many weeks left. We're just about there. But as we get a little bit closer, I'll tell you exactly who is going to be there. This Week in Motocross History is brought to you by Racer X, finest motocross publication on your newsstand now, also available online. It was 1970. What happened in 1970, Susie? Well, if you're looking for the very first AMA motocross ever sanctioned by the association as part of a series, well, this is it. The opening round of the brand new Trans AMA series held in LaRue, Ohio. At that time, Edison Dye's Inter-Am series was already well established, but Dye did not have an AMA sanction, so he could have full control of the series he founded. The AMA finally decided to start doing its own series, and the Trans AMA Tour was born. Unlike the Husqvarna-dominated Inter-Am series, the Trans AMAs brought out 500cc stars like former world champion Jeff Smith and other Great Britain stars. Also, likes of BSAs, and as I mentioned, other stars like John Banks and Dave Nickel. Smith turned out to be one of the overall winners, followed by Swedish transplant Gunnar Lindström, Nickel, and Bickers. Those were great times as motocross was really taking hold and really getting its roots here in America. It was 1977. I was at this race. It was in Unadilla. Talk about mud. It was unbelievable. Another year, Another Unadilla Mutter. Another Trans AMA win for Team Suzuki's Roger DeCoster. This one is the 4th of 5 in a row for the 5-time FIM 500cc world champion, and it may have been the muddiest of all. DeCoster got a gift from America's top 500cc rider, Bad Brad Lackey. In the second moto, when the Honda rider crashed with 2 laps to go, he had a 35-second lead. The bike flooded. Lackey couldn't get the bike restarted for some time. DeCoster took the overall with a 1-2 score to Lackey's 2 and 5, while yet another Honda rider, Tommy Croft, was third over the line with an 11-1 finish. I remember this, and I remember all of us guys from New York, of course, from all over America. We were going ballistic because 1977, Lackey had a lead over Roger, over everybody by like a half a minute. We were going nuts. And then, well, as fate would have it, 1980, Suzuki rider Ken Howerton wins the 3rd round of the 4-race Trans USA Series at Unadilla in upstate New York. Howerton won 3 of the 4 rounds on his way to the series title, which he also won in 1979. The Unadilla race was under a dark cloud as riders and race fans were just learning about the passing of longtime factory rider Galen Mosier, who was sadly killed just a few days before in Unadilla while taking a leisurely bicycle ride. Sad times at that race. Well, time marches on, and before you know it, it'll be time for the York Swap Meet 2025. That happens on Sunday, January 12th, from 8 a.m. till 3 in the afternoon. I will be there the night before the Potomac Vintage Riders have their banquet and dinner. Always a great time at the York Swap Meet. Here's another good one coming up this weekend. I just got a notice on this today. Okay, so here, let me make this a little bigger. So when I do this, does it come across that screen a whole lot bigger? Do you see it now bigger when I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. This Saturday, October 12th, which happens to be my anniversary. But more on that later. October 12th, 6 to 10 p.m., there'll be live music. There'll be food, off-road vendors. There's a whole lot happening down there at 10960 Wheatlands Avenue in Santee, California. That's at BNS Brewing and Distillery. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. There's a bike show. There's food. You're going to have a great time. And when I saw it today on Facebook, I mentioned to Frank Vredes from Legends and Heroes that I was going to talk about it on the show tonight. And he said to me, well, when you do that, make sure you mention this other little tidbit. I want to tell you about some of the other people that are going to be there. Here it is right here. Tommy Croft, Ron Leshane, Larry Rossler. Wow. Scott Burnworth, Dean Sundal, and many, many more. They will be at that event this weekend. That's October 12th from 6 to 10 p.m. So, okay, so that's an evening event. You want to become a Vintage Motocross Q&A supporter? Get a hold of me. For just $50, we'll get you a shirt. We'll get you some other stuff from Amsoil. We'll put a nice little package together for you. If you want to become a sponsor, get a hold of me. It's more affordable than you think, and you will get a lot of bang for your buck. I have not really touted much information lately about how many people this show reaches a week. I remember I used to get really excited when it was over like 20,000 a week after people shared it. And what? It's over 100,000 a month. It's over 500,000 every 3 months. We're doing really, really good with the show. It's hitting a lot of people. A lot of people are sharing it, and the word is getting out there. All of our sponsors are re-upping. This is our fiscal year, so to speak. September, October. Vintco, Full Circle, Motion Pro. They've all been with us for 5 years. There's got to be a reason for that. If they weren't seeing action, if they weren't making sales because of this show, believe me, they're not just sponsoring this show because I'm a pretty face.
Yeah.
Although my beautiful wife may think so. Did we mention everything else, Suze?
I think we did.
Okay. Oh, you like mini bikes? Everybody loves mini bikes. Ben's Vintage Mini Bike Podcast is coming up on October 13th. That is Sunday at 8 p.m. And although a couple of weeks ago I said this is the last time I'm ever going to give this announcement about the Crowder Creek Church fundraiser and barbecue car show, well, the weather down in the south has had its way with many of the events down there. This one was rescheduled, and Al Roof tells me it is going to happen this time, November 2nd. So if you're near their Crowder Creek Church and you want to go to a barbecue and a car show, get a hold of them. They're online, or get a hold of our dear friend Al Roof. He'll get you all hooked up at the Crowder Creek Church. There'll be hot rods, hot dogs. They'll be praying. It could be a baptism. Who knows?
Good day.
You never know. Okay. that wraps it up for this week's Vintage Motocross Q&A. I'm your host, Joe Abbate. I don't know about next Wednesday's show. I may record something. I may just bring you something really cool from Chicago, as I'm going to be getting there rather early. Maybe I'll get out in Terry Good's garage.
Yeah, this weekend.
And he's got some stuff.
I think we arrive at like noon.
Yeah, I think we do, Sue. So why don't we do that? And I'll bring you something live, and I'll bring you something that you can really, really appreciate. That'll happen next Wednesday. Right. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Please support our sponsors, and that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
We'll see you next time on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Oh, no, he's locked up because he got in big trouble today. He dug under the fence and went in the neighbor's yard. He's punished. That's it.
Hi, my name is Terry Good, and I'm with the International Motocross Museum. I'm standing here with Roger DeCoster's 1973 500 World Championship Suzuki. The bike is in all original condition, just as it left the racetrack 51 years ago. This bike and over 50 more will be on display on October 19th at the IMM's last event before we open the doors to the museum. We'd love to have you go. If you want to come visit us and see all the bikes one last time, go to our website, internationalmotocrossmuseum.org. Go to the top right hand of the page, click on the donate button, make a donation, and we'll send you an email with all the details on the date, the time, and a map to where it is. Real simple. We're going to do some cool things there that day, including I'm going to display this bike with the sand tank on it. I've never done that before at our last two events. So we'll display the bike with that infamous sand tank. Here it is right here, in exact condition as it was that day 51 years ago. It'll be mounted on the bike. The other thing we're going to do, we're going to mix some premix with some Castrol R with race gas, and we're going to fire this thing up. So you got to be there for that. It'll be a really cool event. It'll be low key, but it'll be fun. We hope to see you all there. Thank you.
And that's it. The show's really over this time. We'll see you next time on Vintage Motocross Q&A.